you broadcast and corporation as ELPC. We also like to thank you, members of the press, for taking up the time. Regular Tuesdays and Thursday press briefings are held. This afternoon, I'd like to inform you that the Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs will come and officially, after he finishes and he gets through with our presentation, you as member of the press will have the opportunity to quiz them or ask them questions based upon their presentation. At this juncture, I'd like to invite my boss, Honorable Daniel Sando, the youngest Deputy Minister who has served in the Public Affairs Department. Honorable Sando, national platform. Humble it. Yes, sir. So, let me, on behalf of the senior management team here at Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, welcome all of you in person, in Radio Land, and those of you who are following via the, should I say, hundreds of social media feeds are going live from the historic Charles William Conference Room here at the Ministry of Information. The ministry is on top of our game. We are properly managing and supervising the communication of the government of Liberia. That can be clearly seen in the reportage from the print and electronic media. The MICA regular press briefing has become that platform that every major news outlet in the country lays importance to this one. We are not boasting, but we are proud and we are humbled by the fact that you continue to avail yourself to assist the work that we do here at the Ministry. Today we have very distinguished guests. They come from the National Lottery Authority. The National Lottery Authority, of course, is an entity of the government of Liberia. And I will assume that they've been working behind the scene, because since we assumed the role here at the Ministry of Information, this is our first time coming here. And we are happy to have them here with the Lottery Authority is represented by its Deputy Director General for Lottery Games, Honorable Vishnu O. Brefi. It's also accompanied by Kristen K. Cooper, who is the Deputy Director for Operations at the National Lottery Authority. We speak to the public on several issues, including the introduction of the National Lottery Authority 590 bill lottery game in Liberia, raise revenue to create 500 jobs, the National Lottery Authority regulatory and supervisory authority in the gaming industry. They're going to be speaking about all of these issues. We also have a very distinguished lady in our midst. She's no other but Madam Fatima Bintul Salif. That name rings a bell. She is an official of the City Council of Monrovia. She was here yesterday. She's a social media influencer. She's one of the many Liberians who are impressed by the level of work that is being done here at the Ministry of Information. So we avail the platform to say what she thinks about the work we're doing, and then she will also be open to entertaining questions from the press. But before we talk to the folks from the National Lottery Authority and Ms. Salif, it is, of course, by tradition that the official spokesperson of the government will do some housekeeping and clear the decks of the government on certain issues before we can invite the guests to the podium. So that being said, I would encourage all of you to please turn your gadgets on silent. As I now seize the moment to invite the official spokesperson of the Liberian government, Honorable Jeremy Matthew Pia, to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel San. Let me welcome all of you again to Charles Leon Hall. I'm a voice in Mr. Samuel in welcoming the dwellers from the National Lottery Authority. But in particular, welcome my sister, Fatima. You know, I remember in 2023, for almost 6 years, when the Salif administration left office in a transition to the U.S. law school at Harvard, and after that, he started getting arrested. I was definitely quiet and didn't bother the government in any way for 5 unbroken years. Then in 2023, we left our closets and thought it was important to play some role in bringing some stability back to the motherland. And while we were doing that, there I was able to come in contact with Sis Fatima. First, as someone who was always calling on the class reloaded and making her points. And then eventually herself became part of the talk show. Got very engaged with Spoon, played her part very well. And here we are. She's in the country, though she's a member of the City Council of Monrovia, but beyond that, we let some of the things she's involved with. She's trying to highlight the gains, and I want to say the country, not necessarily about the government, but the gains the country is making. We want to appreciate her. Yesterday she was here at our ministry, and we told her to come back today so she could just face all of you, members of the press. And I'm sure at the end she will have something to say before we close. So that talks on issues. There are still some people in our country whose desire is to see everything crumbling. They would rather have chaos and anarchy here than anything that looks stable. These people will find just anything to hang on, just in their desperate attempt to plunge the country into crisis. So of late, we've seen them very busy trying to create an impression that the regime here, led by President Waka, is opposed to the administration in Burkina Faso. They are lying understood that just conflict among ourselves, I'm not talking about another country, just Liberians fighting among ourselves saw 250,000 souls perish. They have now understood that that war took us thousands of years backward. Already limited in infrastructure development, we broke down everything. And there they are in their imaginative self, thinking that crisis among ourselves was not enough, but that they should try to spark cross-border conflict, bringing Liberia into conflict with another nation. These people, some of them, you've heard them, are on bended knees, praying for the government, which by extension the country, to fail. Because they say they want to be president. And if the country succeeds, it becomes impossible for them to be president. Basically, they are involved with dangerous politics. So they've been trying to ignite and invoke conflict between Liberia and the sister country. And we believe as a government we have to call them to order and expose their evil intent. These elements have been carrying fake news and basically childish propaganda. But they've forgotten to know that, as a matter of fact, Liberia has always been in the forefront of defending the interests of Africa. There are misinformation which they are spreading so fast, promoting a concept of anti-Pan-Africanism on the part of our country, is a conspiracy that is illogical and very mischievous. But look, the truth is, we are dealing with a very hostile, desperate, and frustrated opposition. That will not play by the norms of democracy, whether now or in the future. These people are interested in blackening the image of our republic at this critical time, but we will not allow them to succeed. Their objective is obvious: tarnish Liberia's image as a defender of African interests, and by extension try to undermine our quest for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council. Our distinguished Foreign Minister, Madam Sarah Besbo Nyanti, has made multiple visits to Burkina Faso. In fact, there is a video made by the government of Burkina Faso with a number of other foreign actors, including our foreign minister, highlighting what those people in the video are doing to help the cause of the people of Burkina Faso. At one point, our minister went with a high-level security team. They developed a memorandum of understanding on security cooperation between the two countries. They have a full working section, and the MOU is being concluded. How then can people be desperately trying to create an impression that this very country that is so engaged, but our sister country, is anti that same country? And so, to close on the matter, I want to say that it is foolhardy for anyone in Liberia to attempt painting the country as an anti-Pan-Africanist nation, and perhaps suggesting that we are puppet to some foreign forces against the interests of Africa. You cannot deceive the African people about Liberia's stance on African issues. In a couple of news papers lately, we've seen many publications about the real program that is supposed to stretch from Guinea into Liberia, that brings in both Developmental and HPX on another hand. We've observed that many of the publications are trying to do finger pointing and labeling accusations against key officials of the government. We've seen your publications, but we can say this much. Firstly, the fact that there can be these discourses about foreign investors in Liberia first establishes one fact: that this country that was all of a sudden the pariah nation, the rogue state, nobody had time for it, is again a attraction for international investors. As a government, we believe this is good. It is a strong indication of a vote of confidence in what we are doing as a government and as a country. They know that we are striving democratically with the multiple transitions we have. They know that we've been enhancing and consolidating our security. They know that we are creating an environment that is good for businesses to thrive. And so this place is once more a place of traction by international investors. And as all of you will know, this country is endowed with natural resources that unfortunately have not been used for the good of the country and the people of the country. And for once, we have a government led by President Walker that is now focused on making sure that happens. So we've heard all your concerns, we've seen all your publications, we've seen all your finger pointings. But as I speak to you now, the Inter-Ministerial Council Committee on Concession and Investment is meeting as I speak. A meeting that is being presided over by the President himself. So all the concerns you have, as per those publications, at the end of that meeting, as the spokesperson of the government, will receive the appropriate briefings and will clear all your doubts as far as the situation you're trying to create. That there are government officials who are engaged in out of honor money, this group or that group, at the detriment of the other. We'll be able to clear all those doubts when they conclude that meeting which the President is presiding over as we speak. This country is not hanging in the sky. It's properly situated and being governed by a team of people who understand exactly what governance is. And because the fish will normally get rotten from the hair, and we do have a hair that is not rotten, but is alight and conscious, we are all bound to do the right thing. And in the end, I always say this, people are rotten. Some people after 1 year, they say the government are free already. I always told you that to judge the success or failure of the government, you have to take your time and wait for the period of the government's mandate to end. You see, when we started shouting 2023 during the campaign to say, leave these people, they failed. Because they were at the end of the period given to them by the Liberian people. So one could establish clearly, by the time you come to October, when election time is September is over. So you can determine whether that regime has failed or they've succeeded. In your cases, in 6 months or so, some people already say the government failed. With no due consideration that the government had a 6-month mandate. But I'm very sure many of them now are overwhelmed with the output of the administration. And so some of the mischiefs, you've seen that what they were trying to do with Liberia, Burkina Faso, now became a strategy. We've seen all of the successes to the extent that now becoming prayer warriors. To say we are praying for the government to fail, begin a new profession. You see, now one person can pray. When you go to churches and mosques, you see those places filled. Everybody there praying for different reasons. Just how you think God likes you and He will answer your prayer, that the other men feel too. But any prayer that wants a nation to fail is a prayer that wants the people to suffer. So the prayer we bring in against that other prayer, I want to pray that Holy Ghost fire prayer. And we'll see who be who. We are expecting a major guest in the country. The president of the Barbados will be arriving in Liberia. The visit comes more than a year after the two countries established diplomatic relations on stewardship of Our Excellency Sarah Deslo Nyanchi, the Foreign Minister of Liberia. On April 29, the Barbados ambassador to Liberia and Ghana presented letters of credence to President Ouattara as a way of strengthening the new diplomatic relation which aligns with Liberia's foreign policy goals to enhance engagement with Caribbean nations, seek tourism, trade, and investment opportunities. It also envisions cooperation in tourism, including human resources training in partnership with Bajan educational institutions and cultural exchanges involving festivals and events management. The Bajan president and her delegation will arrive in Liberia on the 8th. And their 3-day visit will include signing bilateral agreements between the two countries, a luncheon at the Monrovia City Hall, a visit to Providence Island on May 9, and on Saturday, May 10. The delegation here, and President Ouattara, will travel to Monrovia for a series of programs, including the dedication of a presidential monument, honoring 3 Liberian presidents of Bajan descent, Arthur Barkley, Edwin Barkley, and Charles Judy Grant. The 346 families settled in Crusoeville and contributed immensely to Liberia's development, governance, law, media, and communication. Some notable families with links to the Barbados are the Popes, you know about Aberport, the Padmos, Goodrich, Eastman, Weeks, Cards, and Trosh. Discussions during the 3-day meeting were centered around economic partnership, particularly in fisheries, the potential for rum production in Liberia, and the opportunity to develop Crusoeville as a prime heritage tourism destination. For a good while, the public is witnessing uninterrupted flow of electricity, a trend that suggests a stable and reliable power supply, which is crucial for both residential and commercial activities in the country. Some of you have followed the appearances of the LEC boss on local radio stations, including just yesterday, when he made interesting revelations about the vision of the team, indicating how they intend to transform LEC in the short and long run. First, they are trying to improve the operational stability of the LEC. So they have adopted a result-oriented strategy that focuses on leveraging regional networks to enhance the supply of 45 to 50 megawatts of electricity from just the Ivory Coast alone. They are also trying to go for the low-hanging fruits. That is, enhancing the local capacity of the existing infrastructures in the country. And they include the Mount Coffee Hydro, the Jipanese plant on the Bushro Island, they just concluded a power purchase agreement with Guinea that will bring in additional 30 megawatts. And they are changing their approach from power sharing to zero load sharing. Quite revolutionary in a short time. For somebody who's still acting, they are ensuring that reliable electricity means fewer disruptions in operation, which will allow businesses to operate smoothly and efficiently. By their action, they're trying to increase investors' confidence. Because with a consistent supply of power, you can attract new investors. And as businesses seek environment where they can operate without risks, certainly Liberia can be a destination. The LEC hopes to contribute to economic growth because stable energy supply can stimulate economic activities, which will lead to job creation and overall growth in the country. Over the weekend, a 20-member high-power delegation of the government of Liberia, headed by the Minister of Mines and Energy, J. Wilson P., with a team that was made of ministries of finance and development planning, state or presidential affairs, as well as the Liberian Revenue Authority and the central bank, completed a compliance review into the operations of E Mountain Company in Kinjora and Cape County. The assessment is a part of ongoing effort to ensure all mineral rights holders comply fully with the minerals and mining laws of the law of the Republic and the government's broader concession monitoring strategy. The delegation assessment focused on evaluating the company's adherence to standard operating procedures governing gold exploitation, gold melting, packaging, weighing, storage, and export operations. The the National Transit Authority, has announced that in keeping with their plans to revamp public transportation in the country, the Ministries of Finance and Development Planning and private vendor, a Liberian-owned vendor, signed a contract for the procurement of 55 buses and 5 cargo trucks. The debt of the contract has been approved by the Debt Management Committee, and a resolution approving the contract is expected to be completed this week, thus giving the green light to proceed with the procurement process. If all goes well as planned, the buses and cargo trucks are expected to arrive in the country in 60 days. It can be recalled that on May the 5th, the building hosting the National Transit Authority, that was in 2022, was flooded by fire. Investigation into that incident by the National Fire Service showed that the fire was a result of arson attack. Following this incident, the administration of the NTA has been operating without a functioning administrative building. So we're pleased to inform the public that a contract for the construction of a new administrative building has been concluded and signed with the Ministry of Justice and Finance attesting. And the President of Liberia is expected to break ground for the commencement of the construction at the end of the month. The Liberia Civil Aviation Authority has been celebrating Aviation Awareness Week. The celebration started on Monday, and the government has conveyed its fullest commitment to investing in modernizing local airports and their air navigation system. The government of Liberia considers the aviation industry as a key pillar to national development. Most so, the government will collaborate with regional and international bodies to ensure that Liberia remains vital and competitive in global aviation, as was done in the past when the Rabat International Airport was once a basic hub in West Africa to countless Liberians who dream of connecting by air to every corner of the world. The Liberia Air Fund Complex, supported by an agreement between the government of Liberia and Bank Lubin, aims to construct a comprehensive poultry facility. AgroTop Limited, an Israeli company, is overseeing this development, which will include multiple facilities such as the layer and pullet houses, an air packaging center, and a female. The project, approved in August of 2023, has a budget of 26.06 million euros and is expected to produce 70,000 eggs, 70 million, sorry. 70 million, hello, you heard me? 70 million eggs annually. Clear indication that we're on the verge of stopping the importation of eggs to Liberia. The facility aims for a daily production of 200,000 eggs, contributing to national food security and job creation. Initial working capital will be available 6 weeks after the government appoints the management team. The project is expected to create hundreds of jobs, enhance local food system, improve public health by increasing protein availability. The project is progressing well, but will require the prompt attention of logistical and operational challenges to be addressed, and the collaboration between the government and AgroTop is essential for overcoming some of the associated issues. We thought to lay this story because some of our local people are doing very well. The historic Sanipole Pre-Primary School originally constructed by former President William V. Stockman in San Nicolas, was recently destroyed by storm. The county authority ensured that the destroyed building was demolished, not just because they wanted to remove it, but to commence a rebuilding process. That school holds historical significance and has served as a foundation for early childhood education in the county for decades. Madam Superintendent Niape Golo affirmed that the building exercise symbolizing a significant step toward restoring hope and normalcy in the educational journey of the affected students, and the county administration commitment to ensuring education as well as the well-being of school-going children have become a process that will see a full restoration of that damaged school. And finally, I would like to give you some updates from the Ministry of Public Works. One of the sectors we feel so good talking about most of the times because everyone has projected already. It is a sector that has been seen and we know will overperform. At the recent review of the AARD, consistent with what has happened with USAID, everybody agreed that that sector is performing and will overperform. So they sent to us some updates that they want us to share with you. Update 1 is focused on community gravel roads and how they are being improved. They believe that is a transformative initiative that is designed to rehabilitate and upgrade existing unpaved urban roads through the installation of culverts in critical locations and to ensure that those roads that are not a focus for pavement currently are always pliable. The program targets the most critical and activity-based corridor within Monserrato, Maigiri, and Bome. And the objective is to rehabilitate about 62 community gravel roads, which will total 103 kilometers in 3 phases. Phase 1 will see the construction of 100 lines of culverts and will see the maintenance of 45 kilometers of gravel road and 56 lines of culvert cleaning, meaning where you already have culvert but they are blocked, they're not performing the function for which they were there, they're targeting them to clean them. So they've awarded 5 different contracts to 5 different Liberian contractors that are currently doing those jobs. Phase 2, the construction of 70 lines of culvert and 30 kilometers of gravel road maintenance. They put it in culvert and they will make sure the road is maintained and for all the potholes and ditches and make sure that it's pliable even though it's not paved. And they say upon completion of this phase, more areas will be targeted. And the third one is the construction of 68 lines of culvert and 28 kilometers of gravel road maintenance. It is currently ongoing. It is around 1.169 million. So the total amount that is being spent with the different contractors on doing these roads is $4.5 million. In line with the appropriate approach, funding was made available and a restricted bidding process was concluded to hire a contractor for each of the lots below. One, Homeland Construction and Engineering is a contractor that was chosen. Where are they working? The Dwazon Turning Point in Johnson, the Dwazon Turning Point Junction Road, sorry. The EFWA junction as reference is 2.9 kilometers, Freedom Community Road 1.1 kilometers, and Smart University Road 2.2 kilometers. The second group is Help Consulting. They are in the Rock Culture Community 2.9 kilometers. The SKD and GSA Road 2 kilometers, Tinker Village Guest House 1.4 kilometers, the Gil Mansion area 2.6 kilometers, GSA Compound and Cement Hill Road 2.3 kilometers. Echo Construction. They are working around the Iron Gate, and it's 1.6 kilometers. Christopolis Community 1.7 kilometers. Chani Cotterway Indie Zone to the Japan Freeway is 1.1 kilometers. Divan Town, Lone Star back of the VP Road is 1.1 kilometers. Hammerfield Junction to Dupo Road is 0.5 kilometers. Kingdom Business, they are working on Peloton, Johnsonville Road 3 kilometers. Peso Hope Academy International School to Barclay Oldfield is 1.5 kilometers. And Bond Niger Junction to Charlestown is 1.6 kilometers. And the PY group of companies is the final one. They are on Toppen Avenue, that's Johnsonville in Samuka Town, they're doing 7.7 kilometers. In the Wentown area, 0.5 kilometers. Finally, I know I'm taking all your time talking too much. Be show so I can tell you where to be last year. Dwazon Turning Point, that's in Margibi County. ELWA Junction, these ones are asphalt pavement. 2.9 kilometers, Freedom Community Road 1.1 kilometers, GSA to Cement Road 2.3 kilometers, Rock Crusher 2.9 kilometers, SKD Complex GSA 2 kilometers, Tinker Village 1.4 kilometers, Gil Mansion 2 kilometers, the Iron Gate Community 1.6 kilometers, Christopolis Community 1.7 kilometers. Near the same thing I just said, but just it's a repeat. So, the status of the overhead bridge, I have to tell you one because I go every day you'll say the government are bad. They say they're doing interchange, but I can see it. So Public Works decided to say that we should update you as follows. What's the status? Currently, the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Public Works has achieved the following to the commencement of the 2 Channel A bridge construction project this year. 1, resettlement action. All affected persons in the proposed project site, they've all been paid, and the demolition of structures within the right of way has commenced, leading to turning over the site to the contractor. 2, utilities relocation. As it stands, all utility providers, LEC, MTN Mobile, Orange, and others, they've commenced the relocation of their utilities along the project corridor, which covers 1.35 kilometers. Payment to facilitate the relocation is still in progress. The contractor's camp and production site. The Ministry of Public Works has handed over both the camp and production site to the contractor. Currently, the contractor has started the construction of the camp, and the production and mobilization of construction equipment in the country is in progress. Based on the above achievement, the ministry says the president will break ground for the actual start of the project shortly. They wanted us to also tell about the Chicken Soup Factory Road. Rehabilitation of the Chicken Soup Factory Road, which is about 4.1 kilometers, and we're talking about pavement. In 2023, so now you say we'll talk about everything, we can talk about what happened in everything again for us, right? But in 2023, the government of Liberia entered into a contractual agreement through the Ministry of Public Works with QE 24 Group for the rehabilitation and maintenance of the RIA to Charlesville Road corridor covering 8.3 kilometers for the amount of $3.62 million US. The contract duration was 24 months and was 6 months defect liability period. That is, when you finish with the road, it takes 6 months to look at and see whether it was done properly. But I said due to the economic benefits coupled with the population of the habitat along the RIA to Charlesville corridor, the contract was swapped with Chicken Soup Factory Road. So they changed it because 2 million headache was there. So it's from Chicken Soup Factory Road to Johnsonville, which is 4.1 kilometers, all the way up to Kebab, Johnsonville, which is another 4.1 kilometers. That is currently under construction for the same amount of money. Status on implementation. The contractor has executed 22% of physical work, and they have received an advance payment of $726,575 US, which represents 20% of their contract cost. So 2 things are supposed to happen this week. Tomorrow, you members of the press, in the evening, maybe beginning from 8 o'clock, you're doing a bus tour with our team. You're going all in the net. What are you looking for in the net? You know what we're looking for? Mm-hmm. Some people putting all kind of funny things there on Facebook. I know where you can take a picture from. They say, Waka Dark Monrovia. Some of the pictures we take it from one village in Freetown, somebody just putting it all over. So we're asking you, all of you here who don't work for government, you are independent people. You will join us on that bus tour. They will patrol the city. Maybe when the tour finishes, it will be around 2 a.m. Yeah, you too got to contribute to the country development. Right? And don't worry too much because, you know, the small team will be there. We'll be there. So you will capture how our city looks like in the night. The LEC grade, the original LEC grade that feeds into some street lights, they are all up. In addition to that, the Ministry of Public Works has been installing all these solar lights. So the truth is, when you move around in the night, in many places, you see a brightened city. But the people who believe that if it is not them, then no country, see everything collapsing. So we'll take you there to tell the story. People will be watching your gadget. This is new media age. We'll be seeing it as we're going live tonight, tomorrow night. Then on Friday, we have mapped out all the road projects. That one lying in there. Broad day from the morning. And Osano and his team will lead the members of the press. And you will visit all the ongoing road projects. The people will see it on your gadget. So that's what we're doing. Tell the story. Don't manufacture anything. When you go there, just as it is, how you appear on your different feeds. So the people know where they are. This is the government in real motion. And if those praying for it to fail and kneeling down while praying, probably you will get knee problem because you got to pray for long. Also on tomorrow, before you do your tour in the night, we have a new initiative. Yes, we come here, we have the press conferences every day. We appear on talk shows. We're running Lina, the Liberia News Agency, one of the deputy directors this year. We're running the newspaper. It is up 3 times every week. We're running the New Liberia magazine. We're doing all the different things. But every time we sit down and think to ourselves, we say much more can still be done, because you see, this is the new media age. And the thing that people are doing on social media, they overpower all of you conventional media personnel. They are the news breakers. Many times fake news. Before you come to find the fact to correct it, you struggle. So we say, Lord, let's create a scenario where the governors and those being governed can meet face to face. The man Lapu selling in the market who would never have seen Minister Gafwan to raise an issue she got with the government in the financial sector can look Gafwan in the face and say, Mr. Minister, I'm happy I'm here today and you're here. This is my concern. On a pimping rider who has an issue, who could have never seen anybody call a government official, can have the opportunity to stay with you face to face and ask you the money issues they have. So we're launching this big program called the Government Town Hall. The people say they call it Kapa Kulolu. They say it's a better word which means come, let's talk it. So we're putting everybody in a setting to come so we can talk it. When you come up, when you talk their own, you ask them questions. We'll launch our program tomorrow at the Ministerial Complex. Our Vice President initially supposed to be the chief launcher, but unfortunately he's still out of the country. He traveled, he expected that he would have been back. His travel schedule was that permit that he will come back tomorrow, which is the day of the program, but he will come after the program. So our distinguished Foreign Minister, Madam Sarah Desbro Johnson, has been asked by the Vice President to perform that duty on his behalf. And after she gave a keynote and launched the program, both Minister Gafwan and the head of the LRA would make some presentation. And after that, all of the participants there, those who got the interest, will ask them questions. It's a program we launched that will sustain to the end of the administration. We plan it along with Internews with support from USAID. So it shall be every month. Then USAID group had their support. Internews itself with their folding up. So it came back to us just as our wedding. And because it is not only on our hair, we can only do it quarterly and no longer Monday. But who knows? Probably we'll be able to find out some sources of support, and we'll bring the original plan back to do it every month. So we encourage all of you, report us a sign to be at, to be at the Ministerial Complex tomorrow at 11 o'clock for that lunch, and to also participate in that program. I want to thank you for your attention, but just to also remind all of you that I'm told, and I checked the record and realized that today is the birthday of former President Samuel Kanyado. And we want to say happy, you can say what, heavenly birthday. I hope he hears it in heaven. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Pia. We would now like to invite the National Lottery Authority to the podium. They will speak. And then Fatima will say something, and then we'll entertain questions from the press.
recognize Mr. Liberia, Ministry of Information, Culture, and Tourism. Also like to recognize Deputy Minister Sam. Not forgetting says Lino. The media. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christian K. Cooper, Deputy Director General at the National Lottery Authority. The National Lottery Authority is a government entity responsible for generating funds to help government in mitigating the challenges we face in the disabled community, as well as the welfare and scientific institutions. The National Lottery Authority is a regulatory arm in the gaming sector. You know, at times when we go in places, people name us or classify us as the gamble people. Once you say I'm from lottery, say, oh, there are gamble people there. Forgetting to know that we are the regulatory arm. And this we have been doing for the past 1 year now since we took over. We have different departments of the National Lottery Authority. We are regulating the gaming entities, and as we speak, we have about 18 gaming entities being registered from the National Lottery Authority, ranging from casinos to sports betting and mini slot, the one we call the Chinese machines. And all funds raised from the entities goes towards social development programs, such as the hospitals, the disabled organizations, and the welfare institutions. We have, like I said, for the gaming entity, we have numbers of gaming entities that are registered. To name a few, we have the RS Multiplex, which is found around the Old Road Junction. It's commonly known as the 50-50. We have the Riverside at the Support Beach. We have the Golden Casino found at Mammoth Point. We have Colony Casino found in Convertown. We have Golden Casino found on the RI Highway. And of course, we have Platinum found in Convertown. For the mini slot, we have Tonley Betting Company. We have Brilliant Betting Company. We have Sabot Betting Company. We have New Liberia, New Explorer Betting Company. We have Best Trading. And we have the Liberty Fortune. Some of these companies are into slot and into sports betting. So for those who are into slot and sports betting, we have Winner Incorporated. It's one. We have Betomas. We have Premier Bet. We have Star Bet. And we have Dogs Bet. Like we said, Once we raise these funds, as we said, we were created to generate funds, and funds that we generate goes towards social and disabled organizations. In Liberia, we are working with 255 disabled organizations across the country. And one of the disabled organizations, we have 145 disabled organizations in Monrovia County. In Mangini County, we have 10 disabled organizations that we are working with. In Bon County, we have 8. In Lofa County, we have 8. In Grand Cape County, we have 5. In Bomi County, we have 6. In Bakuru County, we have 3. In Grand Basso County, we have 6. In Riverside County, we have 9. In Sano County, we have 11. In Grand County, we have 3. In Rogi County, we have 7. In Grand Jere County, we have 10. And in Maryland County, we have 10. When you do the targeting, you have 255 disabled organizations that we are currently working with. You know, like I said, the new management have gone to the national lottery. We have a vision of not just getting fish, getting food and not food out and just getting the book. This time around, we want to teach them how to fish. So we have brought on board a new phenomenon, and this is to pay fees for disabled students who are private and public universities. We are paying fees for students, disabled students, get clear, disabled students who are at public universities. So among these universities that we have University of Liberia, we have 42 students that we are paying fees for from the National Lottery Authority. Nima University, we have 12 students, disabled students. In Lofa Community College, we have 12 students. In Riwaji Technical and Vocational Institution, we have 10 students. In Bomi Community College, we have 10 students. In Greco Technical College, we have 5 students. Sano Community College, 3 students. Grand Basso University, we have 3 students. Maryland University, we have 15 students. Rangine University for Community College, we have 1 student. Grand Cape Community College, we have 2 students, making a total of 132 students that are benefiting from the Social Welfare Department of Nigeria, from the National Lottery Authority. Not only that, you know, the generation of these funds are on a slow pace. And they are on a slow pace because the gaming entity are doing self-declaration. While it is true we monitor them for them to do their declaration and pay their fees or tax to the lottery authority, but it is difficult and it is on a slow pace because most of them or all of them are doing self-declaration. So they tell you what they want you to know. So the new administration or the new management team now come, but we want to have what we call the central monitoring system. A system that will track all of our gains and all the revenue that is supposed to come to the National Lottery Authority. The reason why we have to get a poor income is because the entity or the gaming entity that we deal with, they do self-declaration. What they want you to see is what they tell you, because we don't have the sophistication to track them. So we, at the lottery, the new management, have tried, and maybe in the next 30 days, we have, because we are around 90 to 95% completion of the process, to have a central monitoring system that will help to boost our revenue generation. And then we can make our program more effective. Because what we are doing now, we're doing it on a quarterly basis. every quarter of the year we roll out. Every quarter of every year we roll out. I'm just from the southeast. As a head of the delegation, I went to 6 counties with full and non-full acting. At the same time, paying fees for students who are in the universities. Well, the process is on a slow pace. But breaking the CMS, we believe it will help boost revenue generation for the National Lottery Authority. There is this portion, but we'll leave it and give it to the Deputy Director for Lottery. He will emphasize on that because he has direct responsibility and it's his purview. It is a new thing, even though it is not new to the lottery game, but for a couple of years, and a big out of lottery function, we have tried to bring it back. So, Mr. Buffett will speak on that. So these are things that we are doing, to make sure that we help government in mitigating the challenges that the disabled people have and to mitigate some of the difficulties we face at at the southeast, we met the school community, and it will interest you to know that the guy wants to go to school. You pay the fees, but the means of going to school. There was a guy we met at a great crew. The wheelchair the guy is using, he had to brace it with sticks. Only because he wants to go to school. So he pleaded with the National Lottery Authority. And people, if you pay on fees and pay all the other things, and don't have the means of going to school, it will be a waste. So we started to recalibrate. Why is true I'm paying fees for them? We should also make sure that because if you pay the fees and you don't have the means of going to school, it's a waste. Because you're not going and will get paid the fees. So we are mitigating. You see how we found means. Look, I went to River G and I saw somebody using crochet with 4. Put the sticks and the 4 in it is on the arm, and you see the guy going to school. But this mitigation we are talking about, only if we succeed in having the CMS and the 94 game that we talked about, I can tell you that the National Lottery will be another new thing to see. So having said this, I don't want to go to this 94 game issue, but for the students, for the welfare division, for before I give chance to Mr. Buffett, I'd like to say the National Lottery Authority, the new management at the National Lottery Authority, we are making strides to make sure that our activities are brought to the people and we stay on top of our game. It is difficult to meet up with all of our games because the gaming sectors are doing self-declaration. And this is what we want to get of which we are creating the central monitoring system and also the network game. So I'll pause here and wait maybe for your question. Or maybe you got one?
Okay. So we are still here at the Ministry of Information. Welcome. This is Phone TV coming to you live.
I'm aware that some of you, including LBS, have to run with their news, so I'll be brief. All right, so I will just speak on 2 specific projects of the National Lottery Authority, which have to do with the 598 ball game and, of course, the central monitoring system. Quickly, the law that created the Lottery Authority provides for the Lottery Authority to operate a national lotto. And it is against this backdrop that an international competitive bidding took place, and on February 20 of this year, we signed a contract with a Ghanaian company called Blue Star TED to begin operating the 590. And this lotto game will not just generate revenue for the government, but will also create massive employment for the Liberian people. As we speak, Blue Star is setting up their offices on the 18th Street, and there is an ongoing recruitment for the first 500 Liberians. The links are out on our social media pages. It's also on our official website. Those Liberians that are interested in becoming lotto agents, what we call POS agents, are encouraged to apply. Submit your application for the first 5 counties. That includes Monrovia, Margibi, Bong, Nimba, and Grand Bassa counties. 500 people from those counties, and will extend to the rest of the 10 counties, which means that in the next 2 or so years, we should be talking about employing thousands of Liberians. And this will also bring revenue to the government because Blue Star and the National Lottery Authority will jointly be operating the 590 lotto games, and the revenues, there's a revenue sharing ratio, which some will go to them and some will come to the government. And this lotto game, we're going to do daily draws of 2 times. We are in partnership with the national broadcaster because they will run our draws live, 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock every day. So that means Liberians can stick their lotto tickets, any 5 numbers, up to 5 numbers, between 1 to 90, and listen on the radio or watch the TV screens for the draws at 2 o'clock or 5 or 7 o'clock. And if your number that you stick are among the winning numbers, you're going to win. And of course, you can just go to any of the lotto booths, not necessarily the one you stick your ticket at. You can go to any of the lotto booths and cash your prizes. And it is arranged such that if 2 of your numbers, or if 1 of your numbers comes among the 5 numbers, you're going to win up to 240 times the amount you played. If 2 of your numbers come up, 3 of your numbers, 4 of them, and if all 5 of your numbers comes up, that's a jackpot for you. So we believe that this lotto game will massively provide money to the Liberian people, especially those that will be winning. And I will leave that and talk about the central monitoring system at this point. The gaming and lottery industry is growing very rapidly in Liberia, but there are still many challenges, which includes the lack of transparency, ineffective regulatory oversight, and of course, revenue leakage, like my colleague. The centralized system that we are bringing is going to be the technological backbone of the NLA, and it's going to be there basically to track every transaction in the lottery sector. That means every registered and licensed lottery operator, you will be captured in the system. And everybody in Liberia that plays lotto, or you go stick ticket at the casino everywhere, we at the National Lottery Authority will be able to see it, and we'll be able to know how much is coming in the sector. That way, people will not under-declare. Lottery operators will not under-declare because we've already seen how much you're making. So we now will be issuing invoices to each of these lotto companies or casinos or sports betting and what have you. And because this system is also going to connect all the operators for the NLA to see. And I know we got to take your questions and we got to go. So let me say at this point that the CMS is not just a revenue generation platform. It's there to upgrade our policies. It's also there to enhance the credibility, the efficiency, and potential revenue generation for the sector. It will help to reduce dispute as well, where some people go to the places to play and they feel cheated. You know, there was a recent case where one of the players feel like he's always playing, and he's not winning. You feel that the machines have been tempered. Yes, sometimes people temper the machines. But with this CMS, we're going to be able to track all these things and know when such things are happening. So for us at the NLA, the CMF marks a stepping block towards transforming the sector and creating a transparent and world-class regulatory body capable of safeguarding public interest while maximizing economic returns. I will stop here at this point. And if there are questions, we'll take those questions.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to say thank you, Honorable Minister, all of your deputies, people from the National Lottery, the press here present. I'd like to say thank you to all of you for coming, because this creates transparency, it creates an awareness to our people so that they can understand that indeed this country is working, not for only United Party, but for all Liberians. I came here yesterday to visit. As you guys are aware, my name is Fatima Bintu Sirleaf, and of course I'm working with City Council. And with City Council, we work on city. We do not just go to work every day. So I took upon myself to speak to the President of the Republic of Liberia to go and showcase some of the work that he's doing. Because when I was abroad, I heard that in 1 year, the government was doing absolutely nothing. And I visit quite often, and that was not the case. So I made it my duty to come here and see for myself. I spoke to the President, and I said to him, Daddy, you are talk and do. And he said to me, well, I was mandated by the people of Liberia to do their work. So I will do, and you will talk. And so I've been contacting most of our ministers, our dynamic minister here, Minister Pierre, and I told him that I wanted to come to this ministry to see the transformation. Because in the past, I visited this ministry and I saw red, white, and blue. It was dark in here, there was no vibrancy, there was no life. I'm not saying this to denigrate anybody, but I'm saying what I saw. And I came here yesterday, I was impressed. This is what we voted for. Our votes are working. This is what we fought in the trenches for. We went in that river, in that water, that rain on that September morning, afternoon, and we saw how people walked. In this ministry, I went from room to room, from floor to floor, and I saw the difference that it's making. This president and this government, there are things that I want you guys to understand. The road project is nobody's project. It's a Liberian project. We want people to understand, and we were in City Council, we're talking about city planning. And Mayor Siafa said, we're planning the city for 5 years, 15 years, and 45 years. And so he told the president, I want this project to be a project. This was the president's answer. I want it to be a Liberian project. Don't put my name on any project because the government is continuing. So we just want you guys to understand that our ministries, our entities, our managing directors, our ministers, they are working not for self, but for Liberians in our country, in our people. And so I am proud to say I see a lot of women in here. I'm a feminist. I think you guys know. I'm pro-women. I believe in women empowerment. And as you can see, this minister, not only is he inclusive, he has ministers here who are female. And that was something that showed me that this government is uplifting people. I'm proud to say that we want the media to be here so we can have transparency, so people can see that anything that we're doing is in the open. We're not copying anyone's project. If we left a project and it's going to benefit the Liberian people, but just be informed and guaranteed that we will complete it. I thank you guys so much for being here. Liberia is all that we have. No amount of warmongering, no amount of claiming something that you were given 6 years. Threw it into your lap by the Liberian people, and you couldn't conclude, you couldn't do. You put yourself before our people. But today, the Liberian people, where this government is going to fight for them, we're going to ensure that every life is changed. Farm to market will be less than 2 to 3 hours. Our major highways and byways will be built. Our hospitals will be overhauled. JFK will then be again a referral hospital in the region. And of course, our children will go to school and they will be educated. Because if you educate a girl, I think you guys know what happened. I thank you.
So does it mean
So just before we take the question from the press, I'd like to add that as a government, we are following
silence in the conference room, please.
We are following the situation in Grand Gillette County involving Smart FM, a community radio station that has operated in that part of the country for the last couple of years. We are concerned because it is part of our pledge as a government to ensure that the free press can operate without hindrance. And as a sector ministry for all journalists, we have made initial engagement with the authorities in Grand Gillette County. The situation, the information that we are gathering will inform the decision or the prompt intervention of the ministry to ensure that our matter can be expeditiously handled. It is part of our pledge. You see how we have managed to provide a free space for new media institutions to be established. So the records of the government cannot be tainted. Our commitment is unwavering to ensure that the media can tread peacefully. So I thought to make that announcement because it was important. It's a trending issue. People talking about Smart FM. We have made initial intervention, and the information we gather will inform the intervention of the ministry. With that being said, we'll now entertain your questions to the speakers. We are already against time. Please make sure that your questions are pointed, concise, and succinct. Thank you.
Okay, time for questions and answers.
One question to the speaker, please. So my name is Joseph Selim and I report for ABC Radio.
Because of time, now one question to us. There are plenty of speakers. If you want to add a full speaker, one question.
So my name is Joseph Selim and I report for ABC Radio. I want to know when you started work at City Council, what some of those purchases you're being involved with? And at our city, what's your own appreciation of the current situation in our city? And lastly,
No, I said, you have a thing asking her or asking me.
one question to
Look at it, land behind you. It's on 2 o'clock.
One question to a journalist, please.
Thank you. My name is George Mugo. So my question goes to the National Lottery Authority. And you talk about those in the gaming sector honor declaring, and you're talking about putting in place a system to monitor them, which is good. But I did not hear you talk about playing to regulate the sector, especially the one that has to do with this Chinese betting. Too often, witness parents going for their teenagers at those centers. So I care to know what are plans you got on book to ensure that you will not have teenagers trooping to these places. Thank you.
My name is Donald Stangal in our report for Liberia. Question on a briefing, you accused some individual for allegedly creating chaos in the country, or you are not specific. If you don't mind, please. Samuel Johnson,
Freelancing? You're freelancing?
no.
So over the last week, I Samuel Johnson, I put for FM and also for Terrell. Over the last week, Spoon TV reported that the president dismissed Commerce Inspector Mr. Joy Cooper on causes of fraud, academic fraud. And up to now, there's any mention hasn't put out a list to confirm what Spoon reported. So I wanted to get more information from the Ministry of Information and whether the Commerce Inspector was dismissed and the President of the State knows his position.
Thank you. My name is Mopolu, and I run the multimedia for. So my question goes to Madam Sherry. Liberia is a democratic nation where people have their say. And to have come and be definitive, like the last time you were here, you saw that the building was not good, and now you're surprised that in fact you went to the president and said that you're doing well. Don't you think that in kinds of statement, it is political, you're trying to take a side, you're trying to buy favor? That's my concern. And look, well, let's go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the poor quality of the voice. My name is Sampat Mahima, representing Perm FM. Mr. Cooper and Mr. Buffett, my question is out to you. I heard you talk about the disabled community. Are you taking into consideration their kids, those children that accompany the disabled community? That's my question, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Pratom Singh, and I report for the Tule Independent Newspaper. Well, I have two questions, but I have to do one. Okay, so for the National Lottery Authority, there is this new electronic lottery machine that is found in every shop, schools, marketplaces. Sometimes when you take a tour in those places, you find children below the age of 15 playing them. So my question is, are you also regulating this machine? If yes, how effective are your regulations?
Good afternoon, I'm Raul STB, and I report for Pana FM. My question goes to Mr. Pia, specifically on the proven license better to be launched tomorrow. I want to know whether, I did not hear you talking about how decentralized it will be. So I want to know whether it will be decentralized or will be a Monrovia team. Thank you.
Joseph Sally on the report from the question goes to the minister. On the 10th of May of this year, HDX wrote a communication to the president. And within the communications, they noted that if PA is not taking to fill in finalizing the agreement, will lead to policy that undermining investors' confidence. And less than 24 hours, we saw the Minister of State without portfolio, Mr. Samuel Guia, coming up with a release. I want to know if this release represents the official statement of the government, or were he acting on his own, being the Minister of State portfolio?
Thank you. My name is Elijah Pine. I report for ATL Sports Reporting Television. Specifically, my question is on sports as it relates to the National Lottery Authority. Sometime of March, which is March 7, you signed a sponsorship deal with the Liberia Football Federation of $2.7 million. Tell us how far is that sponsorship deal? Have you paid part payment as the competition is now arrived at the primary stage? That's Liberty. Liberia.
Darius Kemon. I'm Darius Kemon. I report from Citizen Radio FM. My question I go to Ms. Fatima Sedi. You said you believe in women empowerment. Can you kindly tell us your role as an official in promoting women empowerment?
So my name is James M. Bala and I report from Monrovia in my County. Our minister, I want to say many thanks and appreciation to you guys for highlighting all the work I did in the rural counties in my County and the first statement. Currently, as we speak in my County, the initiative building road is paved and the road passing from my house to the market to the Antigo Quarter area is also on pavement and all of those characterize from pavement. We congratulate you for highlighting all the work projects. However, you made mentions of a multi-million-dollar projects in regard to poultry farming or poultry companies. All reason you do not tell us as to which county this property is going to be constructed so that justice can be moved after having job to do.
Thank you. My name is Desmond Moyon, and I report for Democrats on Watch. Thanks so kindly to the team, and my concern is to the official spokesperson of government. Burkina Faso, as can be described as a country runner experiencing instability. And as an African country, normally these African citizens move out to other countries to seek refuge. And I'm inclined to remind everyone that over the past years during the regime of the previous administration, there have been reports of Burkinabés in the southeastern region, into our forests involved into illicit mining. And today, there are current reports about some of these Burkinabés being found in Bon County, and being, there's a huge crackdown by the county authorities after these Burkinabés. What is the government? How do the government, intend to go after these Burkinabés? Taking into consideration their country, as one could term as quote-unquote instability at a peak. One could seek refuge from near a country like Liberia. Is the government intending to create the environment where yet, though they were reported as illicit manners, but is there any second-down alternative from the government to provide a refuge for these people having been arrested so that they cannot be treated as maybe the mere criminals as well? Thank you.
All right, my name is Darius Kemon. I report for Wiz TV. My question is going to the National Lottery Authority. I want to know what is measure being put in place to prevent gambling addiction, because there are some people that are so rude when it comes to putting better, all that kind of stuff. So what is being done to prevent addiction when it comes to gambling on our mental health and families? Thank you.
Man, I had a book and read money.
Thank you for the deliberation. The National Lottery Authority, you did mention in your deliberation that you then find it very hard to raise funds because the people who are operating in the gaming sector, they are under clearing, and also you've been contributing immensely to orphanages and less fortunate homes. But you fail to tell us how much over the years you've been generating, how much have you been able to generate per year, and how much you're contributing currently to the sectors you are operating in sense and dollar. Can you tell us how much you've been generating and how much you're contributing to national government also? Because I guess you take in salaries and those salaries are for taxpayers, and you are also generating funds. How much have you been able to contribute to national government?
Thank you. Those are all the questions, but I have a concern. I want you to please look into the slot machine that is on 17th Street, my community in which I live. Because it's just outside the Nigeria shop, and children under age between the ages of 5 to 12 years just go there and put in money, which is not safe. So I want you guys to pick your interest.
So we are still here, Spawn TV.
Second question first. I think that the journalist asked if, you know, what, if I was trying to find favor. Of course, I want you to be aware that I consider myself the president's daughter. I always talk about his agenda. I speak to him as often as I want, and I'm not trying to buy favors at all. I don't think I am, because before I even came here, I had a life, and after I leave here, I will have a life. I'm just working for my country.
If there's anyone who's tired with the press conference, just get out. Stop making the press all sick. Don't do that.
And he also asked me what was my role to women empowerment. I don't know if you guys are aware, I'm a social worker by trade. I have a master's degree in social work and another master's degree in project management from a Ivy League university. So I was working, I actually did not quit my job. I took a leave of absence to come to Liberia to serve my nation. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. And someone also asked me, when was I appointed as city council? I was appointed on February the 6th, 2025, by His Excellency, Joseph Mwambuakai. And he also asked, what are some of the projects that we're working on? I've made suggestions. We've had 3 board meetings, and I've made some suggestions for us to separate the city for each council member to have their areas where they are focused on to work with the community dwellers and the community leaders to create some relief, because I felt that for you as a citizen to take control and charge of your own garbage and clean your environment, it's upon yourself. You know, we can do all we can, but if we're in close connection with the city dwellers and the city leaders, we can achieve what we want to achieve. Because health, cleanliness is close to your health. If you keep your community clean, you will improve your health. So those are the things that he asked me. I think those are the 2 questions for the 2 different people. We haven't really started on any major projects, but we've been able to bring 2 mayors in the last 40 years. They haven't had mayors visit this country. We were able to bring the mayor from China, and we were also able to bring the mayor from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And he promised that he was going to give some land, that he has already given some land in North Carolina for Liberian students who want to go back to America to study. He's asking the Liberian community to build housing for them as well as a cultural center. So we're working outside with other communities to make sure that we have city relationships that we can build to improve our city and improve the lives of our people. And that's what we fight for. We fight for all of us, all Liberians, not just one person, not a woman. I'm a feminist, but I'm fighting for all Liberians to achieve the common goal, the rights to freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of their own happiness.
Okay, so I'll quickly respond to just 2 of the questions that came to the NLA. My colleague will respond to the rest of them. The first one is our agreement with the Liberia Kickball Federation. Like you rightly said, we have an agreement with them to sponsor the league this year with $2.7 million. And that money is being paid in 3 equal installments. The first one was paid upon the signing of the contract. The next one will be paid in this May. And the last one will be paid in September towards the end of the league. Did somebody ask about gambling addiction and responsible gaming? That's one of the advantages the central monitoring system is bringing. With the central monitoring system, we'll be able to enable and implement timeouts. By timeout, I mean if the system realizes that this particular player is consistently and frequently on the machine for long hours, we'll be able to investigate and implement time out through the system that is going to cut you off. That's one. We're also going to be the system will also be implementing spending limits. So based on people's income or how much money people are spending in the casinos or in the sports betting area or on the apps, the system will be able to track it and also implement spending limits to limit how much people spend and how much time people spend as well, so that it can help to reduce addiction to the game. And that's our own way of helping to institute responsible gaming in Liberia. My colleague will respond to the rest of the questions.
And, two of the questions centered around children playing. Children underage. Children accompanying their parents. So, if you follow our regulations, it is clear. It is clearly written there that children under the age of 18 should not play. And if you see the machines, just go closer, you will see a rating on the machine, they got a rating there. Children under 18 should not play. But, you know, it's like the police officer and the driver. The police will tell you don't drive without lesson. But there are people still driving without lesson. So when the police arrest you, what they do, they penalize you. Equally so, when we tell you children under 18 should not play, and we found out that children under 18 are playing a machine, you are penalized for that. It's clearly written in our regulations. The next thing, children accompanying their parents, disabled parents. You know, it's difficult because the support to the parents are not regular. So they have to go out to find food and eat. This is why we are putting on all of our mechanisms to make sure that at least we can regularly meet some of the needs. Then the children will have the rest to go to school. Even though we are talking to them, some are going, but it's difficult. Because if the child leaves the parent go home, our parent have to stay home all day and nowhere to find food. So it is difficult. But we are doing everything to make sure that we mitigate the situation. The last question is really here.
My question was meant to tell the public what you have an inspector team like going on the
Right. Right. We have this 18. The NE, even though they're not enough to cover the country, but once we get the cases, sometimes the cases are reported to us. When they are reported to us, we investigate and we'll find you guilty, and you are penalized.
You have a hotline here now?
Yeah, we're working on that. Very soon, we'll be announcing the hotline. But we have people in the field who are reporting cases to us, and we are going after the violators. I think the last one is something you talk about the addiction. Let me get through a little light. Since indeed we have not had the CFS in place, what we do, we have our NE officer posted to different casinos. And they are also trained as a counselor to talk to you. Once they realize that you are always playing, at the end of somebody lose and going, they will call your attention and talk to you. And at that point, maybe if you are sensible enough, you will leave. So this is what we are doing to release. You will leave. They will talk to you. So these are the mechanisms we are doing.
So this is Spoon TV coming to you live from the Ministry of Information. So he refused to answer that question. So stay here.
Father, thank you for being a testament to what the government is doing, even outside of Monrovia. We've always said Monrovia is not Liberia. That's true. I have a roots in Kakata. I lived in Kakata for years because I was a student at BWR and graduated from BWR before the war. So Kakata is my second home. In fact, my elder brother in Liberia ZPR was one time superintendent for Magdibi County. So you made that commendation, but you wanted to know where the air team taking place, right here in Monrovia, in Carrisburg. Larry, the program is indeed decentralized. We're only using Monrovia for the official launch. The next edition will be in a county other than Monrovia. The following one will go to another county, just like that. But we consider this a flagship program. It is something we'll continue to implement until the end of this administration. And because of the time frame we have, the town hall will touch all the counties, in some cases many times, before the end of the administration's term. Then they say, I'm going to call people new who are talking about who won't cause trouble. Where were you when they put our press conference and they were called chaos? You're not here. You didn't hear them, you didn't see them. You know who said it will cause chaos. You also know who said they don't bend their knee praying for the government to fail. I can't call their knee over to the Father in a special way. You already know them. Samuel Johnson, I'm the Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. I'm not the Presidential Press Secretary. When the President implores or fires somebody, the Presidency will give that news to the Press Secretary. So you want to know whether Joe Cooper is still working or he's fired? Call Kula Fofana. We saw a letter from Steve Queer. I just said that as of the time I was starting this press conference, the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Investment and Concession was meeting with the President Chairman. And I said I was looking forward to that meeting to get additional updates, and I will update the public accordingly. Until that happens, I can't answer any question on HPL or database. Burkina Bees. There are international conventions that govern refugees, asylum seekers, etc. If somebody comes from a country that is in crisis and the goal is to seek asylum or to be a refugee, they are protected by those conventions that government is under obligation to uphold. Also, on the other hand, if I am a Liberian, not necessarily seeking asylum or wanting to be a refugee, and I enter Guinea or Sierra Leone or Ghana, and I am involved in an act that is against the law, irrespective of what is happening in my country, I will account for the breach of the law. That's as simple and clear as that. Again, that's all the questions that were asked. Yes, so those are the questions, and I believe they are answered. And the final thing I'd like to say to all of you, if you want me to come here next week, and every time I come to the press room, I feel fun and make him plow well, then wish Barcelona victory today.
So many thanks to all of you who've been following the broadcast from
conclude the press conference by saying
Mika.
That we look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow at the EJS Ministerial Complex. The first point of contact for media coverage for this event will be the Mika reporters. So please do not hold back. The program starts at 11 o'clock.
it will not be Liberia. It will start sharp 11. So if you want to be seated with your gadget in place to be accorded the respect that you deserve, please be there before 11 o'clock. Because when you arrive 12 o'clock and the door is closed, you can even show your Mika birth certificate. You're not able. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much for following the live broadcast. My name is Afro Kali. Do have yourself a wonderful and God bless day. Bye bye from now on.